The protagonist of this story is a Chinese man living abroad named Jack, who experienced a terrifying supernatural event in Salem, Massachusetts. Jack was born in China and moved to the USA at 18. Since then, he has been running a supermarket to support himself and his family. Jack's childhood was unusual. He grew up in a village at the foot of a hill filled with graves. Perhaps this early exposure to death made him sensitive to the supernatural. At the end of 2020, an elder relative invited Jack to help manage his nephew's supermarket in Salem. The building, dating back to 1902, had been renovated from an old structure. While the supermarket's business area had undergone upgrades, the living quarters remained mostly untouched. It had 4 rooms, a hall, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a small open space for drying clothes and barbecues. From the first moment Jack stepped into the rooms, he felt oppression and discomfort. A dark energy lingered in every corner. If not for survival, he would have avoided living there entirely. The first 2 years passed without incident. But in the 3rd year, the horror began. One evening, after a heated argument with his wife, Jack decided to sleep in the next room, cold, empty, and never used before. That night, he had an extremely vivid nightmare. He couldn't recall the details, only the fear that jolted him awake. The following night, Jack slept lightly. In the haze between wakefulness and sleep, he thought he heard a woman speaking softly, unintelligibly. When Jack opened his eyes fully, he saw 3 figures in the corner, a woman and 2 children. The corner, shrouded in darkness, untouched by the moonlight. He could barely make out the woman holding the children, but he could feel her eyes fixed on him, a silent, menacing stare that froze him in place. He tried to turn on the light, but his body wouldn't respond. He realized he was experiencing sleep paralysis. No matter how he struggled, he could not break free. Then the woman in the corner moved. Slowly, deliberately, she walked toward the bed. Jack's heart sank. He thought, "This is it. Something terrible is about to happen." Fear paralyzed him. He closed his eyes and lay still for half a minute. Suddenly, the room went completely silent. Jack squinted and looked again. Horror gripped him. The woman was standing right beside his bed, barely half a meter away. A shiver ran down his spine, cold waves coursing through his body, then he lost consciousness. The next morning, Jack awoke with a profound sense of narrowly escaping death. His body bruised but otherwise unharmed. He tried to make sense of the previous night, unsure whether it was a nightmare or something far more sinister. He did not want to admit fear to his wife, so he resolved to continue sleeping in that room. On the 3rd night, Jack decided to take precautions. He secured the door with a long, thick iron nail, confident that nothing could happen now. He lay on the bed, playing on his phone, back facing the door. Suddenly his body went limp, the phone slipped from his hands, and that familiar sleep paralysis returned. Then, the locked wooden door creaked open. Light footsteps approached from behind. The closer they got, the more cold sweat broke over his body. Soon, he felt a heavy weight pressing down. A hand from behind pressed onto his stomach. His mind went blank as if shut down. Around 6 in the morning, Jack awoke, drenched in sweat. He looked down. Bruises and welts covered his stomach, legs, and back. The door had been opened. The iron nail lay on the floor. He rushed to the hospital. The doctors could not explain the marks, only advised rest. By now, Jack was certain. The room was haunted. He decided not to involve the police. That night, he moved back to the room he shared with his wife. But in the dead of night, terror returned. Jack felt pressure on his chest and neck suffocating him. When he opened his eyes, the same woman appeared, sitting atop him, hands gripping his throat. Jack said he would never forget the scene. The woman's body, like dark gray smoke, her features unclear, radiating malice, as if she intended to take his life. For reasons unknown, Jack could move this time. He fought with every ounce of strength, freed himself, and stood upright. Reassuring his wife, he claimed it had been a nightmare. He stayed awake until dawn, terrified. Jack realized the woman and children he had seen were likely victims of those tragedies. He told his wife, and they moved to a newly built house nearby. Even there, strange occurrences continued. Jack had a bizarre dream, seeing an old white-haired woman back-turned, claiming the place had been empty before. Both he and his wife experienced dreams, but no malicious energy was present. Now, they lived safely in the new house. Jack cannot recall the woman's exact appearance, or the children's gender, only a dark, blurred image lingers in his mind. This concludes the story. If you want to hear more stories, horror, fantasy, or other genres, leave your requests in the comments.